The glitzy, spangled reality of Strictly Come Dancing, the queen of reality television, the beloved show that's recently found itself under scrutiny. Reality TV has long captivated audiences with its promise of unscripted drama and authentic storytelling, but of course it's not really unscripted. It's just that the people who you see on television don't know the script, haven't read the script. They are being manipulated from behind. They're being puppeteered by production. And the authenticity of that? No, they are telling a specific story. They've been cast for a specific event. So beneath the surface, there's a complex web of pressures, manipulation, and ethical quandaries about truth and about proper treatment that warrant serious reflection. And the only investigation that has taken place into this was the parliamentary committee that was truncated suddenly in 2019 because of a general election and never reconvened, despite promises and little sort of tags that it would be. And one of the prime culprits for that is Nadine Dorries, she of the plot, she of the person who loves the idea of a giant conspiracy. Well, she could have stopped that giant conspiracy. She could have acted, but she was more interested in being Boris Johnson's cheerleader. Strictly Come Dancing has enchanted millions with its dazzling costumes, its energetic performances, its charismatic personalities, yet the allegations recently reveal a troubling undercurrent. Laura Whitmore, the television presenter best known for her work on Love Island, there's an interesting parallel, has brought to light her distressing experiences during her time on the show. Whitmore, partnered by Giovanni Pernice, has described feeling broken and crying daily during the pressures and in the environment that she faced. Whitmore's experience is not an isolated case. The actress Amanda Abbington has also voiced concerns about Pernice's behaviour, describing it as unnecessary, abusive, cruel and mean. The revelations underscore a critical issue: the potential not just for Pernice but for reality TV to exploit and mistreat its participants under the guise of entertainment, and that nobody, no matter how senior they are, no matter how much they've been involved in this form of television, because it's at its heart is manipulation, nobody can avoid the being tainted by this. Nobody can avoid it if they are involved in it. And we don't see it on the television. We don't see it when we're looking at the television. But believe you me, it is there when you are involved in it. It is there, and it continues after the event. I know. I was involved in it. A particularly concerning aspect of these allegations is the suggestion of gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation that leads individuals to question their perception of what happened. And Whitmore says, "I was gaslit to make it seem normalised," highlighting how her complaints were dismissed or trivialised. This tactic is not only undermines the credibility of the victim, but also perpetuates a culture of silence and complicity. And again, that is central to the way reality TV works. And why are we surprised? Because the runners, the producers, the executives move from one reality TV show to another, and they take their filth and their practices with them from one to another, to another, to another, and it is the same bunch of people, the same studios who are involved in every single one of these shows. Not necessarily the same branding, but the same people. And often it's young people who are told, be ruthless, get the result, because it's the result they want. And then it continues, because these people do not know how to let go. and because the government is indifferent. And the government has listened to what production wants. It has given them what they want. It's given them another 18 months of control over people who are participating in this form of torture, specifically R21 technique, in this form of torture, complicity, and the government has, under OFCOM, given them the right to continue this for another 18 months after the show has aired. This leads to illness. I know. I believe it led to my cancer. Directly. 18 months of misery, a tumour that was 18 months old. The pressures exerted by production teams, public relations personnel, and even co-participants can create an environment where participants feel trapped. And the expectation to maintain a cheerful public persona, regardless of what is going on, the turmoil behind the scenes, is overwhelming. In Whitmore's case, the experience was so taxing she described herself as blonde bait in a sequined dress, objectified, dehumanized by the show's portrayal of her. The allegations against Strictly Come Dancing evoke parallels with the Milgram experiment, a psychological study in the 1960s that demonstrated how ordinary people can be compelled to perform unethical acts under authoritative pressure. In reality TV, producers often wield significant power. I urge you to have a look at the podcast called Edge of Reality. In fact, I was interviewed for it. I think there's a clip of me at the beginning of the podcast, and right at the end, I think there's a number of episodes. And it's production that shapes the narrative, partly by the casting, partly by the manipulation. They exert influence over the participants, but then they don't stop. And the dynamic raises critical questions about the ethical responsibilities of those who create and manage these shows. As the BBC conducts its investigation into these allegations, therefore, it's essential to consider the broader implications to the industry, for the industry. While reality TV can be a platform for genuine talent and entertainment, it must not come at the expense of participants' well-being. And notice that I constantly talk about participants, not contestants, because the game is the MacGuffin, as Hitchcock would call it. The game is the excuse, is the illusion. There is no game. This is about people working incredibly hard to entertain. The introduction of measures such as chaperones during rehearsals might be a step in the right direction, but it seems to me to be wallpaper. It's not enough to address the deeper cultural issues. And Whitmore's call for just an acceptance of what happened to her resonates with a broader desire for accountability and change and recognition. And the entertainment industry, like any other, must navigate the delicate balance between profitability and ethical integrity. Because the PTSD that exists as a result of being on one of these shows continues and continues, and it only takes the smallest trigger to bring it back. I spent the last 6 weeks in blind agony, really. Mad nights with a piece of paper by my bedside to write garbage on, really. Anxieties, the like of which I haven't felt for 5 years. Simply because messages came up on my phone which made it quite clear that somebody had hijacked my phone. And people, somebody who I thought I trusted. And it's all to do with management, and it's all to do with control, and it's to do with that idea of the of gaslighting. It's to do with gaslighting. And I'm perfectly happy to concede that I may have been wrong, but it doesn't stop that. It doesn't stop that revival of the misery. And the industry itself needs to navigate this balance between profitability and ethical integrity. And it's not enough just simply to toss it off with psychiatry. The industry needs to ensure that people are equipped, if they don't have already, with proper management, with proper union membership and support going forward, as they would be if they were involved in a high-profile drama series. Because people involved in these things, whether they are whether they come from TV performance or whether they've simply found themselves in this world, need to recognize that they are going, for 5 years you're going to be, or more. I was in London the other day. I was still recognized in the street. It's not fame or the loss of fame which is the issue. It's the issue that you no longer have control of your own personality. You no longer have control of yourself, and that is a result of the exposure on reality TV, but the angle that is taken by reality TV to present a particular interpretation of your character, of yourself. So what people know about Tim Wilson is not quite who Tim Wilson is. I'm happy to own it. And thankfully I have union representation anyway. But most people don't. And even with the little bit I've got, even with the little support I've got, it didn't stop the huge impact of that show. And for someone like Laura Whitmore, even though she had been involved in Love Island, it didn't stop the huge impact of Strictly Come Dancing and the mistreatment in that show. So as we continue to consume reality TV, it's crucial to remain critical and empathetic viewers. We need to recognize the potential for manipulation and exploitation and support calls for greater transparency, accountability within the industry and in that support system that should surround it. Reality TV, in its quest for authenticity, must not lose sight of the moral responsibilities it owes to its participants, not only for the period that the show is taking place, but beyond. The recent allegations surrounding Strictly Come Dancing serve as a stark reminder of the complex ethical landscape of reality television. So, as we celebrate the glamour and the spectacle and the glitter of these shows, we need to demand a culture that prioritizes respect, fairness, humanity for everybody involved. We need to reassemble that committee. We need a critical examination of the industry's practices. We need reform to ensure the well-being of those who bring these shows to life and offer entertainment. Entertainment comes at a price, and that price should not be our sanity.